Baseball in the 19th century was like going on a bender with your grandmother. It's weird, filled with a shit ton of crazy stories, and most people involved are around life expectancy. But today we narrow our scope to one man, starting pitcher Charlie Sweeney, the man responsible for giving up a record 7 home runs in one game. In the 1800s, teams typically had 2 main pitchers. In this case, the Providence Grays had future Hall of Famer Big Hoss Radbourn and Charlie Sweeney, who by many accounts was a drunk. They did not get along. In 1884, tensions hit a boiling point, and Radbourn, often seen as a prima donna, was suspended following a series of outbursts. Sweeney wasted no time becoming the most difficult ego on the team. It wasn't unwarranted either. That season he struck out 19 in one game, a record that would last for 100 years. But as I said before, the dude had a drinking problem. In July of that year, he spent an entire exhibition game slugging whiskey. He then decided to leave with a woman he met before the game, instead of hopping on the team bus home. Sweeney woke up the next day hungover and realized he was the starting pitcher that day, and he was running late. Sweeney got to the ballpark and took the mound, still drunk from the night before. And you know what happened? He pitched pretty well. The Grays held a 6-2 lead after 5 innings. But then something happened. Coach Bancroft decided to pull Sweeney, who was still recovering from an arm injury, in order to give him some rest. Sounds like a very reasonable thing for a coach to do. But here's the thing about baseball in the 1800s. Pitchers pitched the entire game, and if you didn't, it was a sign of weakness. Well, Sweeney didn't like the idea of getting pulled, so he just refused to leave. It got to the point where Sweeney told Bancroft, "I finish all the games I start or I don't play." Bancroft still insisted he come out, so Sweeney quit, right there on the mound. He walked off the field, changed into street clothes, and left with 2 women believed to be prostitutes. He walked out on his contract and therefore was booted from the National League altogether. But don't worry, he'll be back. Once Radbourn returned from suspension, he took over both starting pitcher roles and set an unbreakable record of 59 wins that season. But that's not the record we're here to talk about, so just forget that and let's move on. Charlie Sweeney found a roster spot on the St. Louis Maroons of the Union Association, but the Union Association went under after only 1 season, so the team joined the National League. Charlie's back, motherfuckers. But entering the 1886 season, Sweeney had thrown 99 complete games in just 3 seasons. That's bad for your arm. Really fucking bad for your arm. And Sweeney began to deal with soreness more often, drink more often, and fight with teammates more often. After a game that year, he was attacked by 5 people who were believed to be associated with a teammate. Not great. A month later, Sweeney took the mound against Detroit. Things did not go well. Sweeney gave up 21 hits in the 14-7 loss, including a record 7 home runs. But you can be damn sure he pitched the whole game. Sadly, Sweeney had much farther to fall. After stepping away from baseball, he got involved with San Francisco gangsters. While reportedly defending himself during an altercation at a bar, Sweeney shot and killed the brother of noted gangster King McManus. After serving 4 years in prison, Sweeney was pardoned, but died a few years later of tuberculosis at the age of 38. Sweeney pitched 1,000 innings before his 24th birthday, and his career ERA is about 1/10 of a point higher than Sandy Koufax. But his story is one of squandered potential, and of course, those 7 home runs. A record that will stand as long as managers and bullpens exist in the world of baseball. Do you have an unbreakable record you'd like to see featured on this show? Send it in to the address below. No, I'm just kidding. Like and subscribe though.